when you know your market inside and out, you found a paper problem to solve, you have detailed wireframes and mockups from a designer ready to go, your next step is to hire a developer to bring it to life. And it might sound straightforward. You post a job on Upwork or one of those job boards, and the applicants just start flowing in. These amazing developers just start asking you, please work on your project. That's not how it goes. The truth is, if you have an average job post, you're going to get average results. You're going to get average. Did I even spell that right? Average. You're going to get, if you have an average job post, you're going to get average applicants. If you want high quality applicants that can take your idea to the next level, you're going to want to avoid these three things. So let's start with number one. Offering equity instead of cash. I always say it's like nobody wants to join a band anymore. The only people you can start a band with are people that you know, like, and trust and have an existing relationship. So when you're trying to start a company, like you're trying to start a band, but you're doing it with people you don't know, there's not a lot of trust and not a lot of relationship there. And whenever developers, and I am one, so when I talk about developers, I'm speaking because I'm a developer and a designer and a startup person, just all around. I've done pretty much everything. So I'm speaking on behalf of the developer personality inside me. Whenever I see, or developers see, developer friends that I know see this is a ground floor opportunity with enormous potential. You'll get 1% equity instead of cash. This statement alone will turn off 99% of developers, high quality developers, right away. This 1% equity assumes that the developer is taking 1/99th of the risk that you are. But in reality, they're going to be giving up thousands of dollars in billable hours, project fees from other people that it could be working with in return for a slim possibility that this project could actually work and the software could actually succeed. So instead, what I often tell people that are in this position is to pay their normal hourly rate. So if they have an hourly rate, or if they do a project, however they do it, you want to pay them as they typically get paid. And then set specific targets for equity. Now, if people say, well, I can't afford, that's why I'm saying I can get equity. But the problem is, you're asking them to take a lot of risk to do that. And so if you just pay them the hourly rate, then it's a lot easier. The relationship is a lot easier. And so when you do offer equity, which is a big part of keeping and retaining these developers, because if they have some skin in the game, they're going to stay around a lot longer. You could set targets like deadlines. So hitting a specific deadline on time. Maybe this is for like the beta launch. Maybe this is for the first version of a new feature or a feature rollout. Whatever that is, you want to set targets based on output, based on outcome, based on results. The other thing that you could do is just say within a specific time period. I remember one mistake that we used to make, my partners and I, that we would just like hire a developer and give them equity right away. And we ran into a lot of issues like that. So you could say, we're going to pay you at an hourly rate, and then maybe after 6 months of working together, we can discuss giving equity. And maybe you can put a specific number in there, or maybe it's just a conversation. But then that allows you to work with them. They like you, you like them, and then you can talk about equity, right? So number 2 is lack of research. So lack of research. Now, this one is important. Search. Whenever a developer sees the words or the sentence, we have rough wireframe, we just have, 1 or 2 rough napkin wireframes or whatever, but we need your help figuring out the interface. They know this is someone who thinks the hard work is in the idea. They think, okay, well, once the idea is created, the easy part is just building this thing. So I just need a developer just to build my idea. I have, 1 or 2 sketches, but that's it. If you want to attract the top developers, you need to show that you know what you want. Now, you don't need to know the exact code frameworks, what servers to use, but knowing the problem inside and out is crucial to communicate that to the developer so that they know that you know your stuff. Now, you want to be a resource. You want to make their job easier. And so if you know your stuff, you can provide guidance throughout this process. So in the job post, describe the problem that you're solving. Talk about what opportunities there are in the market and how painful the problem is. Now, bonus points for things like if you said something like this in the job post: we talked to over 500 real estate agents, and here's what we found. Or I've been working with massage therapists for 20 plus years and know the market inside and out. This shows that you know your stuff. Then to describe, so after you've shown them that you've done your research, you've gone out, you've talked to this market, you know what they want, so you're informed, then describe what the result of the solution would be without going into too much detail. You don't need to describe the entire software thing, but here's an example. So if you were building a CRM for real estate agents, you might say something like, the majority of real estate agents fail to follow up with hot leads, and as a result, they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Our solution will help agents follow up faster and close 40% more deals. Right, so that gives them the problem a detailed, not super detailed, but enough of the problem and enough of the solution that they're going to get a specific result. Or if you're building a job search website, you would say companies are often overwhelmed by underqualified job applicants, and HR managers are wasting an average of 18 hours a week filtering out these bad applicants. And our solution will help HR managers save up to 70% of their time wasted and find qualified applicants faster. Now, number 3. So we just talked about if you don't offer them just equity right out of the thing, pay them what they're worth. And then number 2, show them that you know what you're talking about. And number 3, unreasonable timelines. So whenever a developer sees an unreasonable timeline, you're going to turn off them immediately. The words "shouldn't take long" are huge red flags to developers everywhere. They are to me. If you've ever built software before, you know that these projects always ended up taking longer than expected. Things happen, new features are added, things break, unexpected functionality. All of these things can delay a project. You may be tempted to think that this will be easy to build, and that's understandable if you haven't done it before, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you may not know. So instead of saying shouldn't take long, give a more broad kind of launch date. So you don't have to give a specific time. You could say Q1, Q2, you could say September of 2020. So for an example, you could say we are aiming for an October release date, but can discuss timeline after reviewing the project scope. So that way you let them know that you have a general idea on the time frame, but can flesh out the details once you discuss the project in detail or whatever. And what that helps them understand is that they're going to be part of this planning process. It's not like saying, well, I know what I want. I know exactly how long it's going to take, and it shouldn't take long. It should take you 10 minutes. And especially if you tell them like, well, I could get somebody to build this in Pakistan for $4, that kind of stuff. There's not a level of respect there. And that's what I'm going to end with. The key to this whole process is respect. Respect for what developers do. The job of a developer is not to be some mindless code monkey who just randomly types in things on a computer and things go whiz bang on the other side. Developing software is a creative engineering process that involves taking very complex shapes and patterns and all kinds of different third-party systems and creating simple, elegant, reliable applications. So by respecting their worth, paying them, offering equity later on certain targets, making sure you've laid the groundwork of research and your domain knowledge, and giving them a say in the timeline, you'll end up with a much higher quality candidate, ultimately leading to a much better result.